James, I don't hear anything in the headphones.
Oh, she got it going. The volume.
Yeah, it can.
Welcome to Neutral Voices. I'm Dr. V, and this is In Depth, where we dive deep in the trenches of what matters. Today's topic is
Relationships.
something we've been waiting to talk about forever. So I figure I'll let them say it.
You kind of
Clarence,
paused like you didn't want to talk about it, Doc V.
listen, Clarence been waiting to talk about relationships, and we're going to talk about it tonight.
What?
Relationships, we're going to talk about love.
Yes.
Real love,
Real
not
love.
that fifth grade love.
No, yeah.
Oh, we're going to talk about that too.
That's the only
We're
one I
going to
know.
talk about love. We're going to talk about interracial relationships and what else, Clarence?
We're going to talk about the evolution of new modern relationships.
The evolution.
It's not traditional. What we think is traditional or said is traditional. The younger generation now, they have a whole perspective of what relationships are. So, I mean, it's changing.
Okay,
It's
that's gonna be interesting. Gia, what are we gonna talk about?
I got a little bit of everything. We're going to talk about the history of interracial relationships. We're going to talk about friendships and basically just the importance of connection.
The history, that ought to be
history.
interesting. That sounds like we're gonna be going in the woods a little bit. I
want to Virginia
definitely
on that
got.
We're going to come back out of them. Though.
Okay, E, what you got?
Huh?
What you got?
I'm just here to listen.
Yeah, right.
I'm just here to
Yeah.
listen.
Okay.
I want to learn something today.
Yeah, right.
Hey, can I get a
listen,
piece of paper? Because I need a pen in the pad. So
Yeah. You
notes.
take notes.
Take notes.
So
E.
take
Listen,
notes.
this is Neutral Voices, and we want to invite you to click like and share and to subscribe to our YouTube page, but also to leave questions, comments, etc. Tomorrow night is the Voice of the People, and that's where we get to talk about what you think and what you
And
say.
tell us,
So-
give us some of your best relationship
Yeah.
stories, advice, contradict anything that give us some
Absolutely.
points. We want to really talk about this. It's going to be fun, but it's going to be real.
Yeah. Okay. So to kind of get started, so we need to, I would say, we need to put this in categories.
Okay.
So let's start off with healthy relationships. Let's think about what healthy relationships look like, what they feel like, because everybody has a different
Right.
idea
Right.
and viewpoint of
Right.
a healthy relationship.
Right.
Right.
I think that I'm going to speak just from personal experience. So I feel
Lord.
that as you get older, your perspective on what you're looking for kind of changes. So if you still happen to be not married like me at 42, it's you have a different set of things that you're looking for than you did, let's say, at 22. So for me, I mean, what I look for is peace. I was speaking to somebody the other day and they said, I want somebody who can bring me peace. And my thing is, I have to be at peace first on the inside before I can even venture. So I think that's a big mistake that a lot of people make is they're looking for something that they either don't have already themselves or that they can't give to another person. So their
Yeah.
expectations are almost ridiculous.
Right. And when you say somebody bringing you peace, you ever hear people say, I need my other half.
Mhm.
Right.
And then you hear, no, you need to be 100%
Right.
before I get
Right.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I agree with that. I think you should come to people whole. I don't
Yeah.
think it's healthy to come to people half and expect them to complete the other half of you.
Right.
Yeah, they got the meat me.
Right.
The help meat. They got that mixed up.
Well, I'm gonna just go back to when I talked to an older couple. They had been married. We just was talking about
Yeah.
this. They had been married for at the time at like 50-something years, and we asked them, how did they make it this far?
Mhm.
And
And what lies did they tell? No, I'm just
Right.
no,
kidding.
they was truly honest. They said some days we love each other, some days we hate each other.
Ooh, hate it so hard.
No,
so
but
hard.
when they said it, they said it because it's balance.
Okay.
It's a balance. So to be in a relationship like that, for 50-something years to make it work, and basically it was saying they have to balance each other out. So sometimes you got the yin and the yang.
Yeah, and that's why we have to sometimes seek professional counsel because I don't know, and that may work for them.
I mean,
but
like I said, if I look at it like this, at the time I talked to them, it was 51 years in their marriage. If that's not a success story of a relationship,
But
and they basically telling you,
okay,
if we gonna have days, it's gonna be rough,
that's
but
right.
it's gonna be days, it's gonna be great. So I mean, throughout the whole situation, it's a balance. It's a
Yeah.
balancing act.
Yeah, I get it when you say that, but when you say because of the number of years that they're together, that's success. And so I kind of go against that
Okay.
because, and the reason I say that is because there are some people, and it might be you, hopefully not, but there are some people out there that are married, been married for 30, 40, 50 years.
It's a
And
business. It's
they
a business
are-
deal.
Yes, they are actually miserable.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
transaction.
It's a business deal.
And they're married for certain reasons,
I mean, I
which lead
understand
us
that.
to unhealthy relationships. But I don't want to go there yet. But just to speak to what you're saying when it comes to
I
the
look
number
at-
of years.
I look at it like this: the way they compliment and conversated with throughout the whole conversation,
hmm
it let me know they was very successful at what they did and
Okay.
how they did what they
Okay.
did. So I
Yes.
mean, I can't sit there and say, okay, well, they might be lying, but
Yeah.
I'm not one to judge that. But for them to come and say this is how we balance each other out
Right.
and broke it down,
And then that's
and
good
it makes
because
sense to me to understand, okay, that is a successful relationship.
yeah, for them. And so that's why we're talking about it
Can-
because it's different
Can I
in
cap
every
my 2
household.
cents?
And yes,
Yeah.
put your 2
Mm.
cents in there.
I think-
Cha-ching.
2 cents, 1 cent, whatever it is. Yeah.
I think the sign of a healthy relationship is anyone that doesn't require bail money. So if you're not,
Ooh, see what I mean? That's why I just gonna give it to him.
And
from
the
top.
expert is in the chair.
I'm
he-
telling you, no, I mean, because think about it. If y'all go
See
into that,
stats.
I'm being serious.
I'm
Y'all
telling you,
know
this is subject.
Next.
Yeah, that's a healthy when y'all can get along no matter what, and y'all can work it through, and then y'all haven't harmed each other. Hey, that's a good relationship.
Clarence.
Mm,
Clarence.
okay, yeah. So what for me? I just want to say this: compromise is one of the key words. So I have these.
You a woman and you know that word?
Oh, see what I'm saying? Just go on,
Clarence,
take
I
it.
gotta go hide with you.
This is neutral voice saying good night.
Relationships are-
Yeah. On that
Saying,
one.
Doc B Deuces. See, you gonna act right
I'm
tonight.
gonna act right, but for a
listen,
woman to say that
He
in
need the Rocky
relationships, that's-
Balboa theme song. Yeah, that was a knockout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
for sure.
see, so here it is: compromise,
Uh-huh.
communication.
Yes.
And the reason I say that is because coming in the game, we have to be able to compromise
agree.
and agree to disagree. And to me, that's one of the things that makes for a healthy relationship because some men don't want women that work. Some men want you to stay at home. Whether you have children or not, they just prefer, you to be a woman at home.
Right.
And so coming through the relationship, when I come in the door, I got to come through with, here's what I expect. This is what I want to do. This is what I expect from you, our relationship, etc.
And I think that's a big
notice she
deal.
said
open. No, we both have to do that. But I'm saying I'm not going to be that woman sitting back, not saying and not having a voice in the relationship. So I believe in equality in that relationship.
I can go with you wholly there, but I think when we say compromise, it's one of those words like love that's thrown around and it's not really utilized in its proper capacity.
Mhm.
Because I do agree that it should be, and people say relationships should be 50-50. No, it should be 100% and 100%. And why
That's
I say this, you bring the whole you bring the whole package of you, and I bring the whole package of me. But when you start compromising, that doesn't chisel away. That
Yeah.
just gets you to a midpoint. And some people think for me to compromise, that I mean I have to sacrifice myself, I have to give up. No, that means we find the middle ground that works for both of us.
That's right. And so, with a healthy relationship, trust has to be in there.
Yes.
Because without trust, I mean, somebody's going to be miserable. So if he cheated, if she cheated at whatever point, and somebody said, okay, I forgive you,
Mhm.
and then they keep bringing it up, or they searching through your bags, your gym bag, they looking in everything you got, really, your glove compartment, your shoes, your socks. I mean, that's going to be a miserable, unhealthy relationship.
And
so
I agree.
trust is also.
But sometimes trust does not have to be broken for you not to trust.
That's
There's
true.
some people that just, they are suspicious. And when it looks like, I mean, no matter what it looks like, they're gonna make it out. What y'all know those people?
Well, sometimes based off
men
their
and women.
previous,
If it walks like a duck, quack like a duck, that's what it is.
And it's not always like
I'm
that.
saying, but sometimes it could be because of a previous
I
situation or
agree.
relationship, and then now
You
they
gotta
come
drop
into a
that
new
baggage.
one. Yeah, they come into a new one carrying that baggage, and that's why we're talking about it tonight
Yeah.
because we're trying to help some people that might be doing that.
I agree.
Well, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you, for me in a toxic relationship,
You been in a toxic relationship?
Oh, she
And I
cleaned
thought-
that up.
I thought
She
she
paused
fixed
right. Yo, that
did
was-
she just drop a
fixed that.
bomb on me?
No, I said you've been in a toxic
Yeah,
relationship.
She did. I just want to make sure I was clear. I was clear
They're
about what I
looking
was,
for a
what I
fight.
saw
It was-
and what I heard.
You're
She dropped the
looking-
bomb on me. Okay,
They looking
but
for a
like
fight.
I said, you know, we'll get to you later. But
Rent me.
huh?
Rent me.
Yeah.
We can get to that later.
Yeah, rent
This
me.
is not the night for it. See, that's why I just was going to pull the subject back before we even got started with it.
We should have let
But
the two experts up
I
here
was
tonight
going
to
to.
run to
But-
run it.
Matter of
Hey,
fact, let me get my.
I think a toxic relationship is when you can't speak life into each other.
Yes.
I agree with
I
that.
agree with that.
I mean,
That
that's
makes sense.
wholeheartedly. If you can't speak life into each other, regardless of the situation or what you're going through,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no point of having a relationship, even if y'all get into the mix of an argument,
Mhm.
and you cannot find that common understanding of, okay, I need to digress.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Man, that's totally toxic to me.
Let me what's consistent across every relationship? I don't care if you black, white, green, orange. What things are consistent? Can we speak on those things?
Sex. Like, do you
Well,
that
wow.
would definitely be one. That would
mean, you
definitely
said-
be one.
Not necessarily.
every relationship?
Communication.
Wait,
Communication.
well, I want to make sure. So you talking about a relationship between a man? I mean, well, here I go into the African
Yes, a
zone.
man
A man and a woman. Normal.
and a
Okay, I'm
woman.
saying is
What
that
we-
what you're
what we
talking
would
about?
call
Okay,
normalcy,
I
yeah.
just that's why I wanted to make sure I was thinking.
I mean, what's the saying? What makes a healthy relationship?
What makes a friendship, companionship?
And like I said, communication and a whole lot of other things.
Respect.
I honestly think a
loyalty.
healthy relationship, you have to become a friend. You gotta be friends first.
I mean, but there are certain things. I don't care if who you're dating or what they
Respect.
look like. There are things like you have the things that make it healthy, but then you also have the things that are the same that cause havoc.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like if it's cheating, if it's
Yeah.
the lack
Money.
of trust, if it's money, financial
Yes,
issues,
yes,
things
yes.
that break down relationships.
Mhm.
And as you get older, you might say we're best of friends while we're younger
Mhm.
because we have the sexual relationships and all of that. But as you get older, that tends to go away.
Right.
Then you just become friends, like you said, to 50 some years.
Yeah.
Now you're sleeping in separate rooms
Right.
because
Wow.
you're really just associates now or friends, as
Oh
you
my
would call it.
goodness.
So when you
That's so
take certain
sad.
things out of the relationship, it transforms the relationship itself. And I don't care what color you are, what nationality you are.
It's the same thing.
There's some things that are just the same across the board when it comes to being humans and when we talk about love in relationships.
Well, I think whether it be a friendship or a relationship or whatever, anytime you're sacrificing things that are non-sacrificial, so like if you're sacrificing your self-respect, if you're
Mhm.
sacrificing your dignity, your safety, I mean, there's a long list, but if you're sacrificing things that put you in a bad position, I assume that you're in a toxic
Terrible.
relationship.
I was going to say that's a terrible.
Yeah,
terrible
it is.
relationship.
And
If it
unfortunately,
is-
a lot of people are in that
They
spot
are.
or have been in that spot.
Yeah, because I believe even if it compromises your morals,
Mhm.
you know, and your safety,
Right.
you know, not just as far as being abused or anything like that, but I mean, if that partner or that person is partaking in things that's dangerous and could bring you harm to your house, to your you know, your place where you lay your head, nah.
Yep.
We gotta reconsider.
And people don't think about those type of things. You know, something when you're secure in a relationship, for me, I feel safe. Like I feel
Yes.
protected. So
You
when
have
you
to be.
take me out of that element to where I feel unsafe and I don't feel protective and I
Hostile
feel like
environment.
I'm fighting. I mean, those are all parts of, you know, a toxic relationship. I mean, there's pages and pages.
So why don't you ladies explain to us what you would want from a man? What does it look like having that
Here
good
we
guy,
go.
that good man
Jill,
in
you
your
ready? You got the
space.
keys?
Disclaimer.
What does that
so
look like?
You got the keys. I got the
He's
gas.
sitting right here. He's sitting right here.
Oh.
Disclaimer for V
What
and
does
I.
that
This
look
is
like?
not
Let's
an
have some real
advertisement.
conversation.
Oh,
Yeah, let's have some real conversation. What
Let's
does
have
that
some
look
real
like?
conversation. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what does that look like?
So, I mean, for me personally, it looks like, I look for somebody who works hard. I look for somebody who takes care of themselves. I look for somebody that I'm attracted to, not to sound shallow, but first and foremost, because if I'm not attracted to you, it's just, I don't know. I think people need to be attracted to someone, So on the other side of that, I've been with some beautiful men, dated some beautiful men that their brain was the size of a
Beautiful.
thumbtack. So
When
you can't-
have a man ever been beautiful?
very much
Yeah,
so.
go ahead.
ladies.
Come on, Jill.
I'm
I
just
know
saying.
what you're
Like,
talking
Yes,
about.
yes,
Come on
just
here.
somebody who's pretty but just ugly on the inside.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, all the things that anybody else is really looking for are the things that I look for, but maybe souped up a little bit just because I'm.
I have a
I
question.
thought she was just looking for
I have a
Mr.
question.
right now.
Okay.
Tell me what she said. Does attraction always have to be physical?
I think, and other people might be different, but I need to be physically attracted to you first.
So that's her personal.
That's
It is,
yeah,
yes.
I was
And
just
for
asking.
me, it's a requirement. Like, could I grow to love somebody eventually who wasn't attractive? I don't know if a friendship could develop into that, but it's important for me to be physically attracted to
So
someone.
you need a trophy man.
Doc B, you have the floor.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Dr.
Jill, did I tell you I love your earrings?
Thank you.
No, yeah.
I love yours too.
I have the floor. Well, thank you.
Yep, Doc B, you have the mic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for me, there's a couple things. For me, I'm not the outer person. I don't really go by appearance, but I do go by intellectual conversation, our communication, how we vibe, the chemistry, things like that. How you treat me, how you treat your mother, as they say, how you treat people around you, and that you love God. So I have those things set in place as a standard. But when we, start getting to know each other, I don't want you to be the person that's holding on to yesterday's argument and is blocking communication today. I need to be able to move forward in the relationship. So whatever it is, whatever disagreements, as long as we can disagree, agree, disagree, agree, and keep it moving, and you allow me to be me, and not have me in a relationship where I feel like I'm in bondage.
Right.
And because I need to be able to move.
Right.
And so that right there, those things are
Right.
top of the line. So not necessarily the physical, but a lot of the things that you really can't see.
got you.
And I think too, with that being said, with both of our perspectives, even if somebody has everything on that list, you still have to be able to connect with them.
Yes.
So just because somebody has everything that you're looking for, you still have to have that connection. Like you said, I mean, when you're 75, 80 sitting on the couch, looks aren't going to matter. Can you have a conversation? Can we talk about a book that we read? So I think too, as you age, the things that were important when you were 22 are no longer high standard. Yeah,
Everything's going to change.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We got a comment from a Mildred Lopez. She says, someone who stimulates her mind.
Stimulates the mind.
Yeah,
honey.
Mildred
That's
Lopez
good.
posted that.
Yeah. Thank you for that
Thank you.
post, because and that's kind of what I'm saying. It's not the physical, it's the part you can't see. And so those things, I believe, and I would say it that way too. You got to stimulate more than the physical.
I agree with
Yeah, because only that will last. Because as Jill said, we're gonna be sitting on the couch looking at each other like, what the
We both gonna be ugly.
what? Did this happen? I mean, did we really do this?
Yeah.
So
yeah, we just got another good one, man. Somebody says, actually it's Mildred again. She says, intimacy is important, and that's not a sexual thing. So
No,
the intimate
intimacy is
aspect
not
of the
absolutely.
relationship.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Thank you,
like
sir.
that. So I mean, as we're talking about relationships, and I think we kind of blended the unhealthy with the healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So in that vein, is there anything else you want to hit from either perspective? Because we kind of flowed over into the unhealthy.
I think we got it. Because healthy and unhealthy, as it's 5 of us up here, we're all going to have 5 perspectives.
Mhm.
It depends on what you want out of that relationship, and what you bring into that relationship is what's going to make it healthy and healthy. And that's you. So you
And
gotta-
how many times do you forgive in this healthy relationship? What do you think? Because we know what the Bible says about that. So how many times do you forgive for
it
real?
depends on you. It really does. It really depends on how long your forgiveness is.
But your friends say you're stupid. You know, you're in a relationship with other people, not just with the person you're with.
Mhm.
And you know, we
See,
are
that's a
talking about
problem. That's a problem.
relationships. So you have
We
a
gonna get-
relationship.
That's one of
Ooh,
the.
can we-
You brought this.
Well,
So I
that's
got
why-
to answer this unhealthy.
Well, that's what. Wait, before you answer it, that's why I'm bringing it to the table because it's a topic I want to discuss. So I'm saying you're in a relationship with your significant other. You say, I'm going to forgive him 1,000,000 times because that's just how I am. But yet you have these other relationships that I want to talk about. So you have relationships, your besties, and your besties are telling you, your homies, your roadies, your girlfriends, your biatches, whatever you call each other these days, you know, it's out there. But because
But
you know
she was
that
so
makes
proper.
that makes the relationship deeper when y'all on that level, you calling each other those type of names. But I'm saying, so you have these people that you really love, and they matter.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. And they're saying, "Girl, dump that zero.
Well-
He gonna do it again. She gonna do it again. Get rid of her. You better than her,
Well, it just
right?
depends on
and
the
they got a hookup
situation.
for you.
Well,
Well, I would
Go
just say
ahead.
it depends on the situation, first and foremost. And then you got to look at the people that's giving you the answer.
Right.
Because a lot of times, the people that's giving you the answer, they don't have nobody.
They ain't
Amen.
got no.
They ain't got nothing but nothing.
Right.
So, I mean, when you
Yeah.
got those people that's telling you, nah, girl, or nah, your homeboy be like,
Yeah.
nah, bruh, you need to go ahead. Wait a minute, bruh. You don't even have nothing to
Go
even,
home, right.
to even have this conversation with.
Yeah, okay.
First and foremost. Second of all, if you telling your business to your friends, when you get into it with your significant other,
Mhm.
that's a downfall
Yep.
for a relationship anyway.
Yep.
Because instead of turning your back and talking to your friends and your parents or whoever, you need to turn and face your loved one and have that conversation one-on-one.
Preach,
So
preach.
if you're not going to do that, ain't no point of being in a relationship.
Yes.
I'm done.
I agree fully. You know,
Okay,
and you bring
okay.
that up.
I can't go behind that. That's what I was gonna say. I can't go behind
When
that.
Okay, did he get it?
was
He got
speaking
it.
that, I wrote down, you know, telling too much, because you can't tell your business to the whole village. Just like when people get in an argument and then you see on Facebook they're telling 4,000 strangers that
Right.
their husband's a piece of whatever, and then you wonder why your husband left you 6 months later because all you did was dog him on social media to a whole bunch of strangers. So there is a such thing as, if you don't want people to know your business,
Don't
if you
tell
don't
it.
want
Don't post
people to give their input, then don't put it out there
That's
for
right.
4,500
your,
strangers to see.
honestly
Okay.
your relationship should be private.
Yeah.
In my
Period.
opinion, it should,
Hands
but
down.
it's
That should
not.
be-
I
allowed.
think in
Actually-
so many ways, but I think it's okay if you need to speak to someone outside of it, but just make sure you do it carefully.
Right.
Well, I mean,
you select the
Well,
right
you
people.
You gotta
to
know.
But-
You gotta know
Yeah.
who you speaking to first.
Yeah.
And foremost.
Correct. You know,
Exactly.
it would have to be somebody you could trust. We got a postman from a Mike Brown. Mike Brown, what's happening tonight,
What's up,
brother?
brother?
Mike.
Mike said something, man, that's really interesting. He says verbal intercourse.
Yes,
Mhm.
I
Yes.
love it.
The importance of
It's-
that, man. How important is that if you guys were to speak on that?
Well,
Alrighty.
first of all, we got a little snicker from somebody that don't understand what it's saying. But verbal intercourse, this means that you have to have, Doc V said, and Mildred and her, you have to be able to have a conversation.
Yes.
You
Right.
have to be able to talk about many, many different things from whatever it is. But you got to be able to communicate on levels that you don't communicate with other people. Mildred mentioned intimacy. Intimacy is, I can talk about how you doing. I see that you're not yourself today. What's going on? You know, and that stuff, you know, where you're showing interest. That's that verbal intercourse, because we're in a,
That's what-
we're going
Both ways.
both ways.
Listening.
listening. and
Okay, I wanted you to say the key word.
We're behaving
Listening to each
and
other.
it's talking to and not talking at.
Yes.
Man,
absolutely.
say that again.
And talking
to
and
say that
talking
and
again.
not talking at.
and
Right.
talking with.
Yes.
And you're back and forth, because sometimes you have one person that can just grab the whole conversation and they just talking, and you still in the building. But come on, give me a
But-
little room in there. So
But let me help y'all
Yeah,
with
to
this
do both.
verbal intercourse too.
yes,
It's two ways.
Yes.
You can't just talk. You have to receive.
absolutely. That's what I'm saying. So you have to be
you have
able
to be able to listen
Yes,
as much as you're talking. So
Absolutely.
and when you hear, you process it.
Yeah.
There should be some outcome of that.
yes.
Good one, Mike.
And giving and giving feedback, whether it's with your eye contact or you're nodding your head, because too many times it seems, well, not for me, but there are people in relationships and you may be talking to someone you had a long day at work or it was crazy and you want to share this, you want to talk to somebody, maybe you really want some advice, but you can tell that person's really not listening to you, especially today. And this takes me into the next topic of social media and online dating, relationships, etc. And so something got you all distracted. But I'm going to make you put your phone down. What is it? What is it like? What's going on in your house?
Well, I think it's weird, and I had a conversation with a young man. That social media dating is the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my entire life, because young people actually have Facebook relationships. They've never met this person in their life, but they have,
and they're in love.
And it's not just children. I mean, it's adult people
I know.
that
I
have
was going to say a lot of
Facebook and
different
social
ages.
media relationships.
55% of children or young adults under the age of 18 have said that they have had a strictly virtual relationship. That's a high number.
I hope it's a verbal
That's a high number.
intimacy.
Well,
But-
you know something? The funny part about it, if you think about it, they probably had a good relationship.
No, but you're right. He's right, because when I was doing
I'm just
research,
saying.
it talked about, and I'm going to use somebody as I know as a personal example who I've spoke about before, and he is a high functioning schizophrenic. He has social anxiety. He's never dated in his life. He's in his 40s. Social media has changed him because he doesn't have to interact physily or in person. So to him, these relationships are real because he's
Right.
never had anything else.
So he dating every night.
These
Just saying.
relationships to him
He's an internet pimp.
are something.
Yeah.
But it also, it hinders, and not just that, but if you look at, like we just talked about, relationships on social media, and I don't think that Facebook causes cheating. I feel like if you're going to cheat on Facebook, then you're going to cheat anyway. But
It helps.
it does help. It does absolutely help. All of that helps.
Okay, true confession.
How did that help?
Who cheated on Facebook? No, I'm just kidding.
But
Right.
How did that help?
Do
though?
you lie? Okay.
Makes it easier.
Never.
Makes it easier.
But
Not
he-
help. Makes
but,
it easier.
But here's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. How is that? And Jill, we had this discussion before. I understand that it's a form of a relationship, but I don't believe that's a relationship when you don't have any personal communication with the person.
But
that
What
you
do
can
you-
grow.
what do you mean?
If there's no physical, it doesn't mean physical. I mean
Oh.
physical interaction.
Oh,
to
okay.
you.
You
see
said communication. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
wait, okay.
And what I'm saying is there has to be. I can't build a relationship with you. I can't buy a house with you. I can't marry you if all I see is the letters that you type on that screen. I don't feel that I'm dating you by you typing letters on screen. That is not a relationship. That is a form of a relationship, but that is not really a true relationship.
Okay, now
That's
listen here. To
communication.
That's
It's
what
the
I was going to
truth.
say.
you.
Listen
It's the
to you,
truth.
Clarence.
It's the truth.
Listen, we're talking to the people, the audience, our listeners, the viewers. Somebody you talking about right now might be having the best relationship of their
They're
life.
not having a
And it's-
relationship.
You know the
not
funny
You can't
part?
tell
online.
them that.
I'm trying
I
to tell you
can.
that
That's what I'm
could,
trying to help.
that could be one of the best
Listen,
relationships
will
in
y'all
the
help
world, being
me?
at the fact that you don't see this person every day. Well, you don't see this person
I'm
at all.
seeing people have-
and you having this conversation, and you might have an argument, but it's a quick boom and bomb, and then it's LOL behind it. You know what I'm saying? So you might. I'm just saying you might. I can't do it.
It is physically impossible
I just
for you to
Physically.
have physically and mentally.
not mentally, not emotionally.
Yes.
Well,
What
I
are you
think
talking-
I think
we're
go,
moving.
go back to the word you just explained though. See stats about verbal intercourse.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, so a brother with a silver tongue or a silver penmanship
That's right.
that could write that letter just that good, man, that could reach out and touch that woman's heart verbally,
And lock her down.
you know, and never see her. That's
Lock
a
her
different thing.
down.
It's a conversation. The intercourse is so deep that he reaches her heart.
That's
You
it.
know,
And
so
I'm-
that's possible.
It's
It
po-
is
but let me tell
possible.
you why it's not real. Let
It
me
is
tell
real.
you,
It
it's
is
not
real.
real.
It's
Let me
not
tell
real
you,
to you.
Let me tell you why. Can I?
Can
finish?
you swim
It's
before I
not-
dump this on
Yes,
you?
I can swim.
Yes.
Okay, well, catch it.
It's not real
Wow.
because think about it. How many people are been catfished on these relationships? How many
Okay.
people have been taken on these relationships? They've been scammed on these
People do
relationships.
that in real life too.
Heartbroken.
So here's the thing.
Hold on, here's I'm finna.
And heartbroken because they were
emotional.
emotionally connected, they thought.
You
Which
can't
is a
think.
relationship.
Man,
Hey,
It's
Clarence,
not. It's
Clarence.
not. Y'all can't convince me.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this
Okay.
question. Then.
Mhm.
A lot of brothers that's in prison.
That's not a relationship.
Come on here,
There's a lot of
E.
brothers
Come
that's
on
in,
and
not a
tell
that's
on
been in
them.
prison,
Tell on them.
and they had met their woman
Yes.
through the penmanship and got out of prison and
Married.
married that
They did
woman.
not get into a relationship until he got out of
They
prison.
was in a
Clarence.
relationship the whole
You
time
can't-
when they was writing each other.
You saying what? What is your point?
I mean, that's how they met.
Exactly.
So my
So we
question is, if that's how they met through the pen, and then they had
You're
a relationship.
storyteller. That's not being a relationship. You're
Stories
my
are beautiful.
but can't you
goodness.
have a relationship with
I forgot we
father?
talking to the man that. My point exactly. Say it again.
Right.
Say it again.
Right.
I
Say-
feel like I have a relationship with the father.
Clarence, your credibility, you've been in the same relationship since the 5th grade. So
that's
I'm
how
not
I,
really
that's
sure.
how I know that you can't have a.
That's how we know what you saying is full
Right,
of.
right. Next.
Next.
Yeah.
Can I throw something else in the
before
room?
we next, yes.
We got another post. It says a lot of women in domestic violence relationships
Yes.
think any attention is better than no attention.
That's sadly true.
That's right.
That's their form of
That's
love.
sadly true. That's sadly true.
Yeah.
It takes
And
a
that's too
woman,
bad.
and legitimately, this is statistic wise. I did a training at the YWCA. It takes a woman in an abusive relationship 7 to 10 times to physically actually leave that relationship. She will go back because of any number of reasons. She don't have money for the kids. He's the only one they know. So it takes a woman 7 to 10 times.
And let me put some
And then, hold on, and I'm gonna let you get it. Then 1 out of 4 of those get back into another
Okay.
abusive
If they
relationship.
live through the first 7 to 10 times.
right. And now let me put something on that people don't think about. So I'm speaking from my own personal experience. That leaving 7 or 10 times may not be a physical leaving.
Mhm.
It could be actually a mental leaving. You don't realize that the last time I kissed you goodbye,
Mhm.
although I'm still here. So I've been leaving for the last 3 years, and I see myself leaving. And the 7th time I see myself leaving, I actually pick up the keys and my purse, and I'm out. I left you 10 times. You didn't know it.
Mhm.
So I'm saying when you say that, there's probably some woman that's thinking, like really, like actually leave, go get help 7 times, come back 7, 8, 10. No, it's not always physical. There's other ways to leave people, right?
Right.
So I got a question for you, Doc B. What does that do to you mentally moving forward, like as a person, like relationships and coping with life?
It can actually change your whole movement. It can change the person that you started out to be, that loving, caring person, respectful. It can change you to being a person that's a little bit more cold toward the next relationship and people in general. So that's my perspective. It can really change your heart. And so you have to have a very strong relationship with God so that you can remind yourself, and God can remind you through the Holy Spirit, that this person didn't hurt you. These people didn't hurt you. So you have to process and move forward from that perspective. And then, and of course, healing, and it's a process.
Can I,
That's
can I
good.
flip that
Good
coin
stuff,
to you,
Doc B.
James? Believe it or not, and it's sad, we say the woman is 7 to 10 times. That's statistically, and I understand what you're saying, Dr. B. But they say 1 in 10 or 15 men are in abusive relationships. 1 in 10 to 15 men are in abusive, and they have the same excuses that these women have. That's in a. I mean, it's a spectrum on both ends.
Yes.
Men don't leave abusive. First of all, out of embarrassment, men don't
Right.
report.
They don't
the
even speak
abuse.
about it.
They don't. They
And
don't
that's
speak about
right.
it, and that's a key hindrance.
And not to go into the gay community, but sometimes when there's 2 men in a relationship and one is being abused, a lot of times he won't seek help because of what people would think
Too
and how people
exposed.
will judge him, and he's gonna look weak. And so so there are a lot of men being silently abused.
yes.
I mean, but when you say 2 men together, I mean,
2 men in a relationship, they're lovers.
So they don't want to be exposed.
And that partner could be abusing them. So I'm just saying, so some of those numbers come from men in those type of relationships too. When we say men abuse, sometimes people just think it's a woman at home clocking him. That happens sometimes, but for a portion of it is actually male on male, and vice versa. Yeah. So anyway, so let's flip it a little bit. So let's talk about World War II. Some things jumped off after that. We interracial relationships. Some babies was coming out.
Man, that was happening way before World War II.
Yeah, but that set it off.
Yeah.
It was happening before that, but I'm saying that's when it went big boom, and they were coming out the woodwork, and so let's just talk about interracial relationships.
Well,
and I know everybody knows somebody that's in an interrelationship.
I mean, Jill was in one.
Jill, like, listen, I gotta live with myself from day to day. Stop lying on me
Hi,
on
Mom.
camera.
But
I never brought him home.
get out.
We just meet places.
You got to get out house, Jill. You got to get out house.
I'm just messing with you, Jill.
But no, James is right. But Dr. You said this, and it has been going on long before World War II because, as we know, Andrew Jackson had a whole nother family.
Y'all talking about in the closet? In the woods,
Sally Hemings.
I'm just saying, y'all talking about the secret.
I'm just saying.
Stuff.
George
I'm just
Washington,
saying. I'm talking about when it got
it's-
like real bold, like outwardly.
It became more,
Yes.
a little bit more culturally accepted.
It became fashionable.
And I think the family name is Love because it was movie. Their last name was Love.
Loving versus Commonwealth.
Mhm.
You got it. Go ahead.
The 1967. So there was a case, actually, and I'm going to read it so that I don't miss anything. So Perry Loving and Mildred Jeter. So they went to Washington, D.C. to get married because it was illegal where they were living in Virginia at the time. So when they returned, their house was raided. So the police came in. It detailed how they shined the flashlight, said, "What do you think you're doing?" They took them to jail. They gave them the option. You can both spend 1 year in prison for getting married out of state, or you can move. So what they did is they also, I want to read you something that the judge said in the court case. The judge said, quote, "The Almighty God created the races, white, black, yellow, red, and he placed them on separate continents. His arrangements confirmed that there would be no cause for such marriage. The fact that he separated the races proves that he didn't intend on any of the races to ever mix." So they did end up moving. They appealed the case. It made it to Supreme Court. And all laws that banned interracial marriage were unconstitutional. All remaining laws were null and void. But I mean, that was just one of the popular cases that I saw that kind of changed things as far as marriage goes. I mean, but they went out of state.
Yeah.
And, to look at it then and to look at it now, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's really progressed much as far as acceptance.
But yes, it has, Jill. You know
but
why?
when you look at it compared to this, and
Oh, I know. Yeah, now that's major. The
Yeah.
only reason I say that because I understand what you're saying. The reason I say, oh, yes, it has, when they begin to televise it. So remember, I think this was the first time, whenever it happened, when they had a black bachelorette
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
and they dating on TV, and she ended up marrying
right.
the white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I said, okay, somewhere in there, they like, okay, let's do this.
And we had a gentleman who commented, and we'll talk about this tomorrow on Voice of the People, but we had made a post about interracial dating. And this gentleman got pretty deep and said, I believe it was his grandfather who actually went to jail for marrying his grandmother. So we had a very interesting story. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But
Yes.
researching it was quite, because I've never had any reason to go and look,
Yeah.
at interracial marriage or how things used to be.
Okay, so so let's bring it to the panel. So so your perspective. So let's just talk about it. How do you feel? You can go first. Clarence, whoever. How do you feel about dating outside of your race, or if your daughter chose to date outside of her race, etc.? How do you guys feel?
Me personally,
Yeah, I just want to know from
Yeah.
you guys because you have children.
He doesn't,
And would
Skipper.
you be
No,
upset,
no.
disappointed,
No.
or whatever? How do you feel?
No. Because one thing is, I realize that I can't control anybody else's life.
Mm-hmm.
Who they gonna deal with? I mean, I ain't gonna pay their bills. I ain't gonna live in their house. So what they do is what they do. But I've never. And I told Eric yesterday when we were talking about it, or Monday, if I was to date a white woman,
Oh Lord.
Do we really have
no,
to go?
no,
here?
I'm just gonna say it is not. I would want to date.
He is married, and we don't need to have this conversation.
Go ahead, bring it, C-Stats.
Here
Bring
it
it.
Go ahead and run it.
Real talk, man. Bring it.
I have a problem. I would want to date you or marry you for who you are. I have a problem. No, and I'm not just saying white, but that's a characteristic,
No,
you know.
I get
But
you.
you know, I don't want to date you and you be me.
I got you. I agree with that.
I want you to be who you are.
Mhm.
I sought you out. I found you. I
Say it-
want a
say it
Jenny
like you
with
said.
the eye.
So
Okay,
yes,
I'm about
sir.
to
I want a
say,
Jenny
Yeah.
with the
say
eye.
it like you said it
I
to
want
Monday.
I want her from Grayville. I want her from Yoder, Cedarville, somewhere like that. I want. She has to
Be totally a white woman,
Yeah.
not
If I was to
Tina
date, yeah.
Marie.
No.
Not
Be-
tainted. What you got, E-Fikes?
Me? No. Cool.
You would not.
No.
Why not?
First and foremost, my mom black, my sister black, my aunt's black. I'm just gonna be honest. To me, black is beautiful. I'm not India Ari said it best. Brown skin. Period. So at the end of the day, yes, I love my queens, my sisters. I mean, they're the most disrespected creature on this earth at this period of time. So at the end of the day, why go outside and when I have one of the most beautiful things in my culture? Period.
Period. Drop the
Good
mic.
point.
This is the end of
Okay,
our show.
so
Thank you for being here
let me
tonight.
kill that one too.
Just kidding.
So I think real love knows no color. Just reality.
Reality.
I agree.
Real love.
So when you speak of looking at the color and not the person, it goes to show you how tainted the world is.
Yes.
And then like selfishness. So you're selfish for whatever reason that is, and we can respect that because that's a perspective. But the reality is that love in the Bible teaches us this. God don't see color.
Yeah. Love covers a multitude of sin.
Correct. So I think loving whoever that is, the color should not matter. So when we talk black, white, and anything else that goes, man, the entire process to me is skewed.
Yes.
Speaking of
Literally.
skew, we're going to go real right now. So I need everybody to zoom in. So get in here like quick, because I'm going to tell the truth tonight. So for real, so we in the zone. We in the conversation zone. This is what's going on when nobody's around, nobody's looking, right?
Mhm.
So the sisters talking, and you have some women, not the ones that date outside their race or their culture, but you do have this conversation going on. Why all these black men get some money, get famous, sign a contract, and then now they want to date or go looking for a white woman or another culture, any culture outside of black? What is that about? So yeah, big question mark. And then the other thing is why you got black men, some black men, so yeah, tell on you, some black men dating white women, and then they get around certain black women, and then all of a sudden they want to act like they not together. So my thing is, if you're gonna date outside of your race, love the one you with for real, and be proud of whoever it is. Whoever hand you holding coming through that door, keep holding it on your way out. Don't be walking around trying to figure out if I'm by myself or whatever, and you came in the door with a white woman because I saw you holding a hand until you saw me on
Doc
aisle
V.
6.
Doc
Oh, I
V.
forgot. We got
First and foremost, I apologize for whoever
How you
hurt you
doing?
like that.
How you doing?
Hey,
How you
Whoever that
doing?
brother was, I'm
No,
gonna apologize for
no.
I
him.
apologize.
Let's
I
keep it
apologize
real.
for
Let's
her.
keep it real. No, ain't no
Hey,
brother hurt me.
I'm
I'm saying for the
apologize.
white woman, I was mad. And so I wanted to bust him out, but I stayed out of it. All I'm saying is, so just to bring it to what I'm saying, if you're going to do that, you need to be proud. I don't care if it's a black woman, white woman, whoever it is, whatever the culture. If you choose to date that person, be proud of who you chose
So,
and love them. and
Doc
be
V, let
proud
me
of
come
them.
at you though. So listening to your story, let's
listen.
analyze this. So really the brother was with the woman, right?
Yes.
But then
And
he
they
saw
look good together.
no, check it out though. But then he saw another pretty woman,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in all actuality, it's not that he's embarrassed of the white woman because he came to the grocery store with her.
No.
He just saw
At
another
night,
woman that he
you know
wanted to
what time
holler at.
It was 1 o'clock.
But he
in the
saw another
morning.
woman he wanted to
What you
holler
go-
at, so he
what you go to
did
that
what
store with?
any
'Cause I
other player
used
would
to
do.
like- I used to like to shop at that hour, and every time I would always see the black men with the white women
Well,
at that hour.
well-
And I mean, that's cool. I love it.
Dr.
I
B,
don't
you
have
talk
a
with so
problem
much
with it.
passion when you're talking about this
I
because
get angry because there's one time I saw the man and he dropped a woman's handbag on the floor at a store. I never forget it. I was shopping for a leather jacket.
But I feel like men just do that.
But let me
period.
no. Let me
Yeah.
tell you how
Because
you
I've
get
seen it.
Yeah.
But listen to this.
I mean, I'm not
But
gonna hold no
listen,
bag anyway.
But
so-
listen, but
Hang that one
seriously,
up.
no. Let me give you the whole story. The woman was trying on a coat in the store. He was holding her bag while he was listen, y'all. He was holding it very proudly, and I love that because my friend will hold my purse if I'm trying on a coat. So that's what you would think you would do. Anyway,
Might wanna
all of a
question
sudden,
that.
this brother dropped her purse and kept it moving, went across the room, whatever. And she said, "Why did you throw my purse on the floor?" Now they having this discussion. And I thought, this is not cool. I know why he threw her purse on the floor, because he was up in my zone. All I'm saying is you shouldn't do that no matter what the culture is, period. I'm saying I got some white auntie. I love my white auntie. This is my point. Whoever you with, be proud of.
I got you on that. But Dr. V, let me ease your
Yeah.
pain. You're a beautiful woman. He just wanted to get at you. So-
that's all it was.
That's all it was.
No,
That's
you
all.
just
That's
want no
all.
good.
And
Hey,
for the
man.
record, white people love to go to Kroger after midnight.
In Walmart.
In Walmart.
Yeah, we definitely late in the hour, man. We need to get out of here, Dr. B. Let's take it home.
Yeah. So anywho, this conversation, y'all know this conversation could go on forever, but I did want to mention that there was some creeping in the other room back in the day in the slavery, and I think that was one of the places you guys were going to
Yes.
go. So I
Correct.
had that on the list. We could talk about that a little bit more tomorrow.
Yes.
Correct.
But I'm saying we have so many other angles to relationships. So
Yeah, it's
and-
going to be a part two somewhere down the line.
and I'm saying and love, and so what it feels like to actually experience.
Can we leave on one
real
last
love.
point?
Yes,
God's love,
God's love,
the
God's
relationship with God.
Yes,
Can we end on that?
the
Yeah.
person God has for you may not come in the package you expect. I just want to remind you of that before Jill give us the spiel.
Then the Lord God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. We were never meant to sail such seas alone. Friendships, relationships, partnerships, companionships, fellowships. There are a multitude of ships that we encounter on our journey. Whatever ship you find yourself on, encounter these ships with love in your heart. The need for human connection is more imperative now than it ever has been, not only for love, but for peace, community, unification on all fronts. Individually, we are simply a drop. Together, we are the entire sea."
Yay!
God's
I love
love.
that. I love
Gotta
that.
love it.
Well, this is Neutral Voices. And so on that note, we will see you tomorrow night.
Leave comments.
Have
Tell
a
them
good
we-
night.
Wait,
We
it
need,
sounds like you getting ready to say something.
we need comments. We want to have some
Okay, so
conversation tomorrow.
leave some comments
Yes.
and
Definitely
questions.
tune in tomorrow.
Yes, so that we
It's gonna
can
be off the
have
chain.
a deeper discussion about love and relationships. So join us tomorrow for Voice of the People.
Thank you for
Good
tuning
night.
in. God bless.
It's Neutral Voices.
Tonight.
I have a bunch